Call this meeting to order. Would you please rise and pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome back, clerk. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore, here. Mrs. Thompson, here. Mr. Gray,
Here.
Mr. Bittner,
Here.
Ms. Wong, here. Mr. Lunder,
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here. Approval of the minutes. First of all, we have the regular meeting of council, October 28, 2025, amended. Is there a motion to approve as amended?
So many.
Or to amend as presented, I should say. Sorry. Motion made by Mrs. Moore, second by Mr. Gray. To amend as presented. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore? Aye. Mrs. Thompson? Aye. Mr. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong? Aye. Mr. Lunder?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Is there a motion to now approve though, as amended?
Approve as amended.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Wong, seconded by Mrs. Thompson. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore? Aye. Mrs. Thompson? Aye. Mr. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Lunder?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Approval of minutes for the regular meeting of council of November 25th, 2025. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Motion for passage. Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Moore, second by Mrs. Thompson for passage. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore? Aye. Mrs. Thompson? Aye. Mr. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Lunder?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Correspondence. Does anyone have any correspondence they wish to share tonight? Hearing none, we'll move on to administrative and department head reports. Mayor and Safety Director, Mr. Eva, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Johnson, members of council, the public here this evening. On December 4th, all council members received copies of letters distributed to our residents on Springville Drive in regard to the fence installation, and also residents on Southland Drive concerning the work on the storm sewer project. If there's any questions, please let us know and answer those. Also, I'd like to invite council. We have two events this Sunday, December 14th. The fire department's Santa rounds will begin at 11 a.m. and run until approximately 3 p.m. The police department's Santa Blue Helpers will begin at 3 p.m. With pizza and John Terry and shopping at Target. The children will be after that. The fire department report for November, there were 108 calls for service, 24 fire service calls, 84 rescue EMS calls. Those 84 calls, 5 calls were for input assist. There were no calls requiring Narcan. Training for November, topic was stroke, neurology. Department monthly shift drills, EMS did hypothermic. Fire did vehicle extrication. During the month of November, the fire department participated in additional education through UH hospitals. Dr. Fenoff held round reviews with our personnel. Fire department hosted the West Lake County Fire Investigation Unit for training. New business inspections, one was LVL up CPR and also Lucky Dog Pub. Fire inspections included Andrews Place, Giant Eagle, and Dollar Tree. Service anniversaries in November. Firefighter Tennyson had 3 years. Also like to thank Mrs. Moore and Mr. Lunder for your community service over the last few years. Both of you will be missed. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Administrative Director, Ms. Martin, good evening.
This is really loud tonight, so I'm gonna ask that you two speak up.
Okay, that's really short announcement. So the fence started as scheduled, so hopefully they'll be done with the residents side by the end of next week, pending weather conditions. And our city holiday luncheon is scheduled for December 19th from 11:30 to 1:30. If anyone from council or the clerk would like to stop in for some food and say hello. And
Thank you. Law Director, Ms. Schulte.
nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. City engineer, Mr. Parker, good evening.
Good evening. Just one thing, Southland, as you guys are aware, Sabrina's pretty much finished for the year. When the weather does allow, we can come out and remove some of the filter fabrics from the catch basins in the road. We can do that because there's no dirt getting in them. The ones in the ditches are going to have to stay in there because of the, obviously we weren't able to get grass to spread. If the snow does go away, we will put grass seed down because it is required. Whether it's going to go or not, that the EPA is going to require it. So it's the snow, if the snow melts, we'll put it in. That's all I have to do.
Okay. Are there any questions for the administration? Ms. Thompson?
Yes. We received an email, I would believe it was last week, it was forwarded on from the mayor regarding the holiday ordinance, and it was asked, it wasn't asked, it was stated that it should be removed from our agenda due to it was worked out. Can I ask what was worked out?
Yes, internally, we looked at the holidays. And between the fire chief, police chief, and our administrative director, my thought was if they were in during one of those listed holidays, that they would take extra time off during that next week. So that their hours would be flexible. If for some reason there was a fire incident or a police incident, then they would deduct those hours. If they're in on Memorial Day for 4 hours, then they would work 4 hours less during the week. So that's what we decided to do with the holidays.
Okay, because I did reach out to both chiefs. And one chief said that he was fine either way if it was changed or not. One chief was very clear that he was not okay with the meeting and how it was. He was wanting it to be as the way that we had it written up in our ordinance. But he also did state that in the original ordinance that we currently have right now, it does state that it does need the mayor's sign off on any holiday requests. He said previous years, it has never been requested or never had to happen that it had to be signed off. So that, we're not following the ordinance if that's the way it was happening in the past. And if having to remove that part of the language so they can take those days as floaters, I would like to propose that to council. But again, after me personally speaking to both chiefs, one was like either way, he didn't mind, and one was not happy. He wanted the flexibility to be able to use those as floaters.
Okay, may I ask when you talked to them?
The day after the letter was sent to us.
Okay.
Because I waited, because the letter didn't say anything of how it was handled or what was changed. So I reached out to the chiefs and I'm like, hey, what happened? Were you happy with it? And even if something was changed, we would still need to know. So we need to update the ordinance anyways to make it accurate as to what is happening.
Right, because I met with them probably right before I signed that, and things were okay.
Yeah. I think it was like the next day for one and then 2 days later for the other.
Other questions for the administration? Hearing none, we'll move on to board committee commission reports, planning and zoning.
Planning and Zoning Commission met on Monday, December 1 at 6 p.m. In attendance were commission members Sweeney, Leonard, and Long. Absent were members Weisenberger and Haas. Also present were Mr. Snyder, Mayor Eva, Greg Schultz, and Steve Blackburn representing Lucky Dogs Pub. In the mayor's report to this body, included was Chief Forsyth's request for stronger zoning code with regard to the reopening of businesses reported for illegal activities. Further, a public hearing was conducted to consider issuance of a new conditional use permit for Lucky Dogs Pub to serve alcohol at 7855 Lakeshore Boulevard. The commission voted unanimously in favor of a conditional use permit valid for 1 year to include hours of operation up to 2 a.m. Monday through Saturday and until midnight on Sundays, and with the condition that the screening vegetation at the rear of the lot be replaced. Next, this group reviewed the explanations provided by our law director regarding the clarification of a variance versus approval, and agreed with the zoning committee of council that our fence variation process should remain unchanged. We discussed the need for planning and zoning to take into account past approval decisions and make every effort to remain fair and consistent across similar requests. With regard to the parking of commercial vehicles in residential areas, it was agreed that 1280.07 is confusing as currently written and should be changed to more clearly state which vehicles are permitted and which are prohibited. Using a manufacturer's rated carrying capacity is outdated and not a useful threshold for enforcement. The commission felt strongly that we give consideration to residents who need to park work vehicles at home as part of their livelihood, and that we balance neighborhood concerns and aesthetics against practicality. In order to provide some input for the zoning committee to work with, this group resolved to research potential thresholds that could be used for establishing what would be prohibited and bring suggestions to the next meeting for discussion. With regard to the McMinn fence project, the mayor applied for planning and zoning approval to proceed against 1252.11, which requires the decorative side of a fence be constructed facing away from the property. Several reasons were provided, including the inability to erect the fence as the law requires without gaining permission to enter and work from each resident's private property, the need to move personal items obstructing work from that side, retaining city access to the finished side for maintenance, and the security gained by keeping cross members and other holds that could be used for scaling the fence away from the public side. The commission unanimously approved the request and asked affected residents be notified proactively as to work plan and the rationale behind the fence orientation. The next scheduled meeting date of Monday, January 5 will not have an assigned council representative given its occurrence prior to the tentative annual organizational meeting of council. It was suggested that the board consider a change to their rules in the future to shift the first meeting date of the calendar year for this reason. Barring the appearance of a time-sensitive agenda item, the next meeting will be scheduled for Monday, February 2nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. This meeting was adjourned at 7:23 p.m.
Yeah,
That concludes my report.
thank you. Were there any other board committees or commissions that weren't listed here tonight? Hearing none, we'll go to open to the public to speak. If you'd like to speak, please come to the lectern and state your name and address for the record. It's your opportunity to speak to council. It is not a back and forth with council.
Hello, my name is Brent Beach. I live at 7595 Pinehurst. And we have an ordinance that states your trash cannot be put out more than 24 hours in advance before pickup. Well, I have a neighbor that's constantly putting their trash out. And one night, they was out there on a Monday night. And Tuesday, I came up here to talk to Chuck, and he said that the police department was notified saying that they were allowed to do that. Is the police department allowed to override an ordinance? And if so, why? And also, they told the police that they weren't gonna be home Tuesday. That's why they were putting it out Monday night. Well, they came home Tuesday and they were there for a couple hours. They couldn't put it out Tuesday. They could have also had somebody put it out for them because they have people taking care of their animals. And if they were good neighbors, I'd even put it out for them. And they also start piles of empty Amazon boxes out by the front door. They put bags of trash out by their front door. And I'd like to know why this is being allowed. Thank you.
Thank you. I recommend you speak to the mayor and the administrative director after the meeting
And I do have pictures of the trash out there, the pictures of them there on Tuesday. After they told the officer that they weren't be there.
thank you. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Hearing none, we'll close this portion to open the public speak. We'll move on to legislation before council. Resolution number 2025-R-41, if you please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2025-R-41, second reading. A resolution confirming the appointment of Joseph M. Gurley as city prosecutor and assistant law director, affirming his contract, determining compensation, and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on this? There a motion to suspend the rules?
Seeing that we've used Mr. Gurley for numerous years and he's familiar with our city, our policies, our procedures, I'm gonna make a motion to suspend this evening.
Okay, motion made by Mrs. Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Thompson. Roll call on the motion to suspend the rules.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Is there a motion for passage?
So, second.
Motion made by Mrs. Moore, seconded by Mr. Bittner. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. The resolution is passed. Ordinance number 2025-0-23, if you please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2025-0-23, second reading. An ordinance amending chapter 474 of the codified ordinances of the city of Mender on the Lake, Ohio, entitled Bicycles and Motorcycles Generally, for the purpose of clarifying the regulations and standards for bicycles, including electric bicycles.
Any discussion on this tonight?
Seeing that this 023 and 024 have been a long time coming this year, being sorted out in regards to e-bikes and e-scooters. And Christmas quickly approaching, where I'm sure there's going to be a multitude of children getting new e-bikes and e-scooters and increased traffic on our roads and sidewalks. I'd like to see this get on the books sooner than later, so I'm going to make a motion to suspend.
Second. Motion made by Mrs. Moore, second by Mr. Lunder. Is there discussion on the motion?
I just want to make sure that the public has adequate time to comment on this. I understand there were none in the first public comment session this evening, but I also understand there are a lot of folks who would like not to have to meet on the 23rd, but I want to put that out there that, I mean, we did try to get it on the agenda as fast as possible.
Roll call on the motion to suspend the rules.
Oh, it's me. Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
No.
Ms. Wong,
No.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. The motion to suspend the rules is passed. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Lunder, second by Mr. Gray. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Ordinance number 2025-0-24, please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2025-0-24, second reading. An ordinance amending section 416.12, operation of electric personal assistive mobility devices, and section 416.14, low-speed micromobility devices and electric scooters of the codified ordinances of the city of Mentor on the Lake, Ohio, for the purpose of clarifying the regulations and standards of electric mobility devices within the city.
Any discussion on this tonight?
And this is to regulate the electric scooters.
Motion to suspend.
Motion made by Mr. Lunder,
Second.
second by Mr. Gray. Any discussion on that suspension? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
No.
Ms. Wong,
No.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. The suspension is passed. Roll or a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gray, second by Mr. Lunder. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. The ordinance is passed. Ordinance number 2025-0-25, if you please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2025-0-25, second reading, an ordinance amending sections 452.01, 452.03, 452.16, 452.17, and 452.99 of the codified ordinances of the city of Mentor on the Lake, Ohio.
Any discussion on this?
This is for the parking. Sharing of the parking. In
Correct.
residential areas.
Correct.
So that everything aligns.
Is there any motion on this tonight?
I'm going to make a motion to suspend. I see the gentleman that's come to all of our meetings recently here tonight who has anxiously been awaiting this to be sent through and updated and clarified to hopefully address some concerns that he's had in his neighborhood.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mrs. Moore, second by Mr. Lunder to suspend the rules. Is there any discussion on this suspension?
I will say that this is not the ordinance that addresses commercial vehicle parking. There are some regulations that added to the regulations we had in place before regarding the parking of trucks and some large vehicles, but does not specifically address commercial vehicles.
Okay, and that's forthcoming.
It's in discussion in the Planning and Zoning Commission right now.
Okay, roll call on the suspension of the rules.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
No.
Ms. Wald,
No,
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Suspension is passed. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion for approval. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Gray, seconded by Mr. Lunder. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wall,
aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. The ordinance is passed. Ordinance number 2025-0-27, if you please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2025-0-27, second reading. An ordinance to amend the 2025 appropriation ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Okay, this one needs to be amended. We received a memo outlining the changes.
Motion to amend as outlined in the email.
If we, just a point of clarification, if we needed to make further amendments, would we do that before accepting the amended, or excuse me, the revised?
Doesn't really matter the order of the amendments unless they're
Got it.
correcting the amendments that are being made too. So,
Yes. Or at least asking questions about them. Where would I post those?
right now, that sounds like a good time before we
All right.
have a second to.
Thank
amend.
you, Ms. Martin, for the clarifications in the memo, regarding 232. Fund 232 for the salt, subtracting the 5,000 out of this year's appropriations to make sure we have money for salt, next year. I understand, however, I believe that in the revised version, that would require 232 under previous appropriation to be what it was when it passed in March, which is 118,500, so that when you subtract or take the 5,000 out, we're now at 113. Right now, both columns say 113. I have a copy for 2025-0-05 showing 118 in that column. So if it hasn't been changed since then, that previous appropriations column, I believe, should be 118. Is that correct? All right, so that would be one change I would propose. The second is, again, under 231 street construction maintenance fund, I think I discovered what
All right,
occurred.
let's do this a different way. Let's do it each amendment individually. That way we correct everything
Got it.
individually. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
That way we're not confused as to what all is being changed. All right, so there's a proposed amendment to change on 232 State Highway Fund, where the original appropriation says 113,500, it should read 118,500. Motion has been made by Ms. Wong. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thompson. Okay, any discussion on that motion before we vote on it? Okay, roll call on that amendment, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
All right.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Okay, so that has been amended. Next amendment.
All right, 231 street construction maintenance and repair fund. I looked back, so. In March 2025-0-05. A motion was made. By me and seconded by Ms. Thompson with a vote of 7-0 to remove the $25,000 transfer, debt transfer. To strike that line from the ordinance. Apparently it was accounted for in Fund 441. I checked the minutes for the meeting from 3/25 and it confirms that. The signed ordinance actually does not include the $25,000 line item. It has been struck. However, fast forward to 2025-0-14, which was the amended appropriations that passed on September 23rd. And that line item appears again in the legislation. Yes, I didn't catch it. It should not have been on there since it was struck in March, but it was. I reviewed the minutes from the August 12th meeting, which is where this was discussed on its first reading. There was no further discussion on the second or third reading, and it was passed that way on its third reading. So technically, I guess it belongs there because we passed it. I don't know how you'd like to handle it, but I don't believe the intent was for it to be there now. Would we change it to take that off? It does change the total and math. I don't know if that's money that is appropriate or needs to be appropriated for something now.
The total stayed the same, so it's just a matter of they're applying. So it didn't change, the 54,546,950 was the same. So just because you put it under a transfer money, which transfer money is to help pay off, when we have our street maintenance that we put in our bonds, and then you want to pay like $300,000 for that bond, that's what that transfer money is.
Okay,
So
I understand that, but I can't agree with it doesn't matter. I mean, the numbers are in a place, it matters because that's how we follow them, that's how we track them. I don't have an accounting degree and I need a calculator to do the big addition and subtraction. But I also don't aspire to, or have I ever had the job of finance director or being in charge of anything like this. I just believe there should be some accuracy where numbers are concerned. So if the total for the funds and the appropriations is the same, that's fine, but we should be sure that it's being accounted for under the correct category and in the correct title.
right, and I didn't put the $25,000, and then I again put the $25,000 under 14, correct? On the left-hand side, it doesn't have 25,000, and on the right-hand side, it does.
Right, so my question is, given that, I mean, technically, if it had been done per the ordinance, the 25 should be in there because we passed that in September, even though. That wasn't our intent.
I copied it over on the left and the right, and it has changed.
Right. The issue is that, again, I'm happy to serve as a check and balance, but in September, we ought not to have had the $25,000 on it. That was copied directly over from the ordinance, and the ordinance in March does not have it there. It was struck. So that's where the original error was. And it just wasn't caught.
So is there a motion to amend?
So if the money is accounted for elsewhere, then I would move to amend this appropriations ordinance to remove the $25,000 transfer that doesn't belong there.
There a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Wong, second by Mrs. Thompson to remove the $25,000 transfer listed under 231 Street Construction Maintenance and Repair Fund. Question.
Can I say something? The bond that we use is done in June. So when we were all talking about the bond and how much we're doing the bond for the finance. On the finance side of it, that's in the money, we needed all that extra money to go for the Southland project. So therefore, it's why would you not want that? We have to pay for the bond at some point, so why would you not want the money? And then that bond doesn't, it didn't get voted on until June, but it's the same time that this was out there.
This is, I'm talking about 2025-0-14, which was
Yes,
passed
okay.
on September 23rd. That $25,000 that's under there was taken off in March.
Right, but then the bond comes back around in like June or July.
I guess it wasn't described to us as being added back to that category in September.
But it needs to come from some street maintenance, like some kind of service department fund. Because that's how all the money accumulates in the bond to the bond.
So do you need the $25,000 in there for the appropriations to be correct and the right amount of money
Well, it would
where
be
it
taken
needs to
from-
be?
It would be taken from somewhere.
I-
Yes,
That's a,
yeah, it would be nice if the $25,000 came from the street, which is service department, because service department is one of the places where the majority of all our bond money is spent.
So that is the question that I asked a couple minutes ago, is if we needed it to be in there. If we needed it to be in there, then we should not take it out. I just wanted to know if it had been accounted for somewhere else like it had in March. So. Do we need to still?
So there's currently been a motion, it's been seconded, so we still need to vote on it.
Okay. I think
So roll call on the amendment
and the amendment was to remove this.
to remove the $25,000.
Yeah.
So, roll call.
Mrs. Moore,
No,
Mrs. Thompson,
No,
Mr. Gray,
No.
Mr. Bittner.
No.
Ms. Wong,
No,
Mr. Lunder,
No.
Mr. Johnson.
No. All right, so that amendment did not pass. All right, other amendments.
that's all I have.
Okay. So is there a motion to amend ordinance number 2025 0-27 as presented by the administrative director and including the previous amendment?
a motion to amend as presented and including the previous amendment.
Okay,
second,
motion made by Mrs. Moore, seconded by Mrs. Thompson. Is there any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
aye,
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Hey.
Aye.
Yeah.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. It's a fraud. Is
I thought you said I, then I was
Is-
like, might have said nay.
there a motion to approve now as amended?
We need to suspend the rules.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Motion to
Motion
suspend
to
the rules.
suspend the rules.
Motion made by Ms. Wong,
second,
seconded by Mrs. Thompson to suspend the rules. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
aye,
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Now is there a motion to approve as amended?
motion made to approve as amended,
Motion made by Mrs. Thompson, seconded by Mr. Gray. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
aye,
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong, Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. All right. Ordinance number 2025-0-28, please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2025-0-28, second reading. An ordinance amending section 250.08 of the codified ordinances of the city of Mentor on the Lake, Ohio, entitled Holidays, for the purpose of clarifying the holiday schedule for full-time, non-union employees of the police, fire, and communications departments.
Discussion on this.
yes.
Okay.
I think we were asked to look at this back in March or April. And we have just been going around in circles with this ordinance. So I'd like to ask all of council after the email from the mayor and after I spoke to both chiefs on how we want to move forward with this ordinance.
I don't have an answer. Except to say that I do not believe that that the rules should be suspended for this and anything should be done with it tonight until we either have confirmation that it is going to be acceptable to everyone involved, or if there is a satisfactory replacement or amendment.
So maybe we table this and have a ordinance committee meeting inviting all parties involved.
That's an idea.
Sure. We're not gonna table it, we're gonna refer it back to
Refer
committee.
back to committee, thank you.
Okay. Chair, I will refer that back to the ordinance committee for evaluation. All right. Old business, is there any old business tonight? New business. First of all, we have scheduled the organizational meeting of council for January 2026. Taking Tuesday the 6th. Is the room available that day?
Checking, make it pulled up.
Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
7 PM, Tuesday, January 6th. Great. Any other new business tonight?
I would like to see if anybody besides myself would be interested in suspending the December 23rd meeting. Over the year. Or the 2 days before.
I didn't hear what you said.
She wants to know if council wants to have a recess on December 23rd council meeting.
I agree with that.
So is there a motion now to
Make a motion.
have a council recess on December 23rd?
Yes.
So the motion was made by Mrs. Moore, seconded by Mr. Gray. Any discussion on the recess? Roll call. Please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
No,
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
No. Guess there's a recess on the 23rd. All right, any other new business tonight? Open to the public to speak. If you'd like to speak, please come to the lectern, state your name and address for the record. It's your last chance for the year. Maybe we just want to make fun of Mr. Lunder, it's an opportunity last time. Okay, then we're gonna close this portion of the public speak. We'll move on to announcements and settings and meetings. We have Parks and Recreation Board meeting December 11th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. Organizational meeting of council is Tuesday, January 6th, 7 PM. Any other meetings?
We want to try and do an ordinance, at least if the committee can at least select a couple dates and then I can reach out, select a date. Then I can reach out to the department heads to see their availability as well. Next week, the 16th, 17th, and 18th, the room is open.
Or 18.
of December.
Yes.
I know it's open the 23rd at 7 PM.
And yeah.
And I know you guys are all free.
Which day for you? And any
So 16 or 8. Can,
16th?
well, what if they can't?
Well, we have,
We have to pick a
can't,
date.
we can't, we have to pick a day.
That's. I don't care. 16, fine.
All right, we'll do December 16th at 6:30, and then I will email. And then if we have to cancel,
Well, I think you guys can still meet, discuss.
yeah,
What your plan is.
I would like to have them there. I mean,
I-
I'm gonna get nowhere without
Right.
having that, with Brown,
yeah. It's just,
because it's between the two. This is our issue. Become.
Yeah, so December 16th, about 6:30 PM, ordinance committee. We'll discuss the holiday. Is it 6:30? 6:30. All right, any other meetings? Anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Thompson, second by Mrs. Moore. For adjournment, roll call please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
No.
Mr. Johnson.
No. We're adjourned. You thought you would be the only one to get to do that, huh?